guys? We are back with another song by Eminem. And which one are we doing today?
Today we're doing Tone Deaf.
Oh, I like this song. I know this song.
Yes, I know. This is one of the more popular ones that came off Music to Be Murdered by Side B. And I remembered that you do like this song. So
Yeah, it's fun.
much less of a reaction and more of a breakdown.
But that really happens a lot with Eminem stuff. Like his earlier stuff I didn't really know. I know a lot more of his later stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is track 4 off of Side B of Music to Be Murdered by. So we'll do what we always do. We'll listen, we'll break it down, all that.
Okay.
Right.
And we are sponsored by Carnivore Snacks, which is my favorite meat snack ever and just one of my favorite snacks in general. I love snacks. These are amazing. These are the bison sliders. I say this all the time. You guys are probably so sick of hearing it, but for anyone who's new here, all of the sliders from Carnivore Snacks are absolutely incredible. The lamb is my absolute favorite. And this is the bison sliders. It's 100% grass-fed bison and Redmond real salt. Minimal ingredients, grass-fed, which is the most important, and they're generatively raised. So it's good for, I'll be honest, I don't really know what that means. I just know it's good. And they're absolutely delicious. It's like eating a meat potato chip. It's Joe Rogan's favorite snack, as seen on the website right there. And you can use our coupon code WithSmith for 15% off your first order, and the link is in the description below. We are also sponsored by SeatGeek, which is my favorite website to buy tickets for literally anything and everything. You can get concert tickets, sporting event tickets, comedians. I always say monster truck shows. I don't know if they have those. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. A lot of sporting events going on. Drake is still on tour with 21 Savage, Matt Rife, Dave Chappelle, Ali Wong. So much going on. Get tickets. You can use our coupon code with Smith for $20 off your first purchase, which is an excellent discount for tickets. And the link is in the description below. And you can also follow us on social media channels. Here's our handle for like literally everything. And that is it from me.
Right. So, as I said, this is track number 4 off of Music to Be Murdered by Side B.
And random, but it's our 3-year anniversary of being married.
It is.
And almost our 7-year anniversary, 8-year anniversary. I don't remember of being in a relationship. Yay!
Here we go. Tone Deaf.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Huh? What did you say? Oh. I can't hear you. I have an ear infection and I can't finger it out. Yeah, it's my alter ego's fault. These evil thoughts could be so dark. Cerebral palsy, 3 Zolofts. I eat those off to Rico Suave. Look it up. Cadillac with a ladder rack in the back with a cracked axle. A backpack full of packs. A black satchel, a knapsack, and a flask full of yak and Jack Daniels. Girl, let's go back to my castle. Yeah, I don't wanna hassle you, Alexandra, but my dick's an acronym, cause it stands for you. Wait, Alexandra, who? All I know is Friday I met you. Saturday I'll probably forget you. Guess that's what the Molly and next do. Cause who the fuck am I laying next to? But ever since D Nice to the rescue, feel a fresh crew. Been a lab rat from a test tube. I'm going in like the red roof. Red roof in. You don't like it, eat a cock till your jaw breaks. Call it caught me between a rock and a hard place. Like a Sasquatch in a cross base. Cause you're watching your heart race like a Scarface in a car chase. But the cops are in arcade stuck inside of a Mario Kart race. Stuck in saw blades at a stop and a start pace. What I'm trying to say is I'm driving them all crazy.
I can't understand a word you say. I'm tone deaf. I think this way I prefer to stay. I'm tone deaf. I won't stop even when my hair turns gray. I'm tone deaf. 'Cause they won't stop until they can't.
Yeah.
So me.
Okay. So, like we already said, you already know this song. So. All right. So it starts off with him just talking. He says, "Yeah, I'm sorry. What did you say? Oh, I can't hear you. I have an ear infection. Oh, no, I can't hear you. Sorry, I was confused. I can't hear you. I have an ear infection and I can't finger it out." So that's I don't know. I heard that somewhere before him. Like he didn't make that up. I forget what that's from though.
Yeah,
From something.
I feel like I've heard that like once before, like a long, long, long time ago, but like never again.
I don't remember where I know it from, but obviously it's funny play on.
Yeah.
So it plays on tone deaf, which is obviously like you can't hear certain tones, but people use that like socially, like if you're saying
Yeah,
something
that's what I think he
inappropriate.
means in the whole
But
song.
he's literally saying, I can't hear you as if he's actually deaf. But then he proceeds to say something that would be tone deaf. Do you know what I mean? So it's like he's doing a double play with that little intro on deaf and tone deaf.
Hmm.
And then he says, I need auto tune, which is a little shot at the current modern day rappers using auto tune, you
And
know.
also making fun of himself
Well,
because, you know.
he's doing it to make fun of the other rappers. You know, he's like, I need auto tune. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but also like you know how like Eminem will sing and like people will be like, oh, like he doesn't really know how to sing. So
Maybe.
he's kind of like making fun of himself a little bit.
Yeah,
And be like, oh, I need auto tune because I'm tone deaf.
could be.
Like when he sings.
Yeah,
I don't know.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so then he starts off the first verse. He says, it's my alter ego's fault. These evil thoughts can be so dark. Cerebral palsy, 3 Zolofts. I eat doze off. Tarico Suave. Look it up. So, I
It's
mean,
kind of self-explanatory, but look it up. Like what?
so we'll start at the beginning. His alter ego is obviously Slim Shady. We know that, right? So he's saying it's my alter ego. He's the one that has these dark thoughts. He's also saying that Slim Shady has cerebral palsy. Interesting. And then 3 Zolofts, which are antidepressants. So they don't really, it doesn't work like other pills where if you take them, like they have an immediate
Yeah,
effect, but
and also taking more isn't gonna necessarily make it better.
no. So he's eating the Zolofts and he dozes off to Rico Suave, which is an old song from the 90s. Do you remember that?
Yeah, ugh, that's different from Suavemente,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This is like 1990, maybe 91, 92, somewhere around there.
Oh, Suavemente, I think, is an old song too, like the original. But
Maybe.
yeah, different. I don't know.
And then he says, look it up. So he was, I believe, I don't remember his name. Let's see. I have the lyrics on my phone. I wonder if there's a annotation on Lyric Genius. So it was like a popular hit song, the Rico Suave, and he was like very popular. A 1990 single by Gerardo. It appeared on his 1991 album Mo Ritmo and peaked at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. So he's just given like a random reference, like my alter ego Slim Shady. This is how crazy he is. He has cerebral palsy. He has these dark thoughts. He's popping antidepressants, and he passes out listening to Rico Suave, which is just random. And he's saying, "Look it up." I guess for younger people that don't know the reference.
Yeah.
And then he says, Cadillac with a ladder rack in the back with a cracked axle, a backpack full of Paxil, a black satchel, a knapsack, and a flask full of Yak and Jack Daniels.
Yak. Like cognac.
Cognac, yeah.
Yeah. So kind of self-explanatory, but Paxil, that's just the brand name, the generic version of Prozac,
It's another
or it's
antidepressant.
another type of Prozac. It's like Prozac. It's fluoxetine, I believe.
Yeah, it's
They
another
can't get you high.
it's another antidepressant.
Yeah, it's literally just like, a Medicaid, like an SSRI.
So I remember Cameron years ago, back when Dipset was huge, he was rapping about Paxil. I think they just like the word because it rhymes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, like Cameron was talking about like selling Paxil too, which just like Zoloft, it's not going to do anything to
No,
get you high.
it actually prevents you from being able to get high off of like Molly or ecstasy, in case you were
Good.
wondering. So it'll do more of the opposite.
Yeah. So obviously there's a lot of crazy like internal rhyming in this part of the verse. The Cadillac with the ladder rack in the back, cracked,
That's
backpack,
cool.
black, knapsack. But then he's also doing the axle, paxil, satchel, flask full. So he's got two
A
sets of
double rhyme scheme
rhyming.
going on.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so he's got the Cadillac. It's fucked up. He's got a backpack full of antidepressants and a black satchel and cognac and Jack Daniels. So just crazy. He says, Girl, let's go back to my castle. I don't want to hassle you, Alexandra, but my dick's an acronym because it stands for you. He says stands for you.
So pretty much self-explanatory. Castle is his house. Alexandra, I don't, just a name he threw in there.
Seems like it, because it even says in the next line, Alexandra who.
And an acronym is when you take like a bunch of letters of like a word and like make it stand for something. Like an easy one is like the FDA, the Federal Drug Administration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
So
an
like
acronym.
FDA is an acronym, stands for you, and then stands for you, meaning like her.
Yeah, she turns him
Yeah,
on.
we get
Yeah.
it. We all get it.
Then he says, "Wait, Alexandra who? All I know is Friday I met you. Saturday I'll probably forget you. Guess that's what the Molly and X do. 'Cause who the fuck am I laying next to?" This is
Like a
straightforward.
good like X2 scheme
Yeah.
or at you some you me you know what I mean.
Yeah, and then he's saying he's going to meet her on Friday, and then he's not even going to remember who she is by Saturday. So, but he's blaming it on the drugs, which is interesting because he's just partying so hard he doesn't even remember her.
Yeah.
And he wakes up and he's like, "Who is this?" Then he says, "But ever since D Nice to the rescue, Fila Fresh Crew, like the brand Fila, so it's written wrong here. Fila Fresh Crew. I've been a lab rat from a test tube. I'm going in like the Red Roof in." So D Nice, rapper, to the rescue. I believe, I don't remember if it's the name of the song or the album. I forget, but it's an older 80s. So is the Fila Fresh Crew, late 80s, early 90s rappers.
Yeah, I'm like not familiar, so I was like, I don't know what's going on here.
So he's saying ever since the late 80s, early 90s, he's been a lab rat from a test tube. So it's a double play. So that they talk about like if you're being in the lab, right? It's like you're in the studio, like
Okay.
making music. So you're in the lab. So he says, "I've been a lab rat." So he's been in there, experimenting. And he says from a test tube, so like a
Okay.
test tube lab rat. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
And the test tube. So if you test tube baby, you know what I mean? So he's like invoking that since he was like little, you know what I mean? He was born out of there and
Yeah.
stays in the lab. And then going in like the Red Roof Inn,
Which is
which
a hotel.
more of a motel, but yeah.
It's whatever.
And then he actually says the Red Roof Inn, which
Just to
explain,
confirm,
yeah, which is it's
in case
funny.
you missed it.
Then he says, "You don't like it, eat a cock till your jaw breaks. Call it caught between a rock and a hard place, like a Sasquatch in a crawl space, 'cause you're watching your heart race, like your Scarface." And then it continues in a car chase, blah, blah, blah. But we'll just break this part down. I mean, he's like, "You don't like it, suck a dick." And then he says, caught between a rock and a hard place.
Because it's like till your jaw breaks, like,
Yeah.
which I don't know how it ties in with the above statement, but it just does.
Yeah, so the hard place, I guess, would be his dick. The
Oh,
rock,
yes, the rock is your teeth.
I guess so.
There
Yeah,
we go.
it's
That
funny.
makes sense.
And then he says like Sasquatch in a crawl space, which is, very
He's
tight.
big and then it's very tiny.
You're watching your heart race like your Scarface in a car chase with the cops. So, if Scarface was running from the cops, he's, like crazy, kind of like Sasquatch would be like tight, itching to get out. And he says, or an arcade stuck inside of a Mario Kart race. Stuck in, so I don't think it's stuck in. I believe the lyric. Let's see. Um, duck and saw blades. Yeah. So it's stuck inside of a Mario Kart race. Duck and saw blades at a stop and a start pace. What I'm trying to say is I'm driving them all crazy. So he's doing the scheme with Sasquatch in the crawl space, Scarface in the car chase with the cops, and then he says, or an arcade stuck inside of a Mario Kart race, duck and saw blades. So did you used to play Mario Kart at all?
Yeah, I wasn't very good at it.
Yeah, I used
It
to
was
play it
like the
on.
bananas.
Yeah, I used to play on N64. So yeah, I mean, you could throw stuff out. You said you're ducking saw blades as a stop and a start pace, which kind of goes with the go kart, the Mario Kart, the stopping and starting. And what I'm trying to say is I'm driving them all crazy. So he does say it in a way where it sounds like he's saying driving them all crazy. That was one of the levels of Mario Karts. I don't know if that's what he's referring to or if it's just a
Maybe.
coincidence. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't know that. So
Drive them all.
maybe.
Yeah. Okay, and then the chorus is I can't understand a word you say. I'm tone deaf. I think this way. I prefer to stay. I'm tone deaf. So, That's straightforward.
Sure.
Always wants to be like this. I won't stop even when my hair turns gray. I'm tone deaf because they won't stop until they cancel me.
So, yeah, definitely talking about being tone deaf, like intentionally being tone deaf. Like, I'm going to say whatever I want to say. I don't care how you feel. I don't care. Like, I'm not going to read the room,
Yeah, I've always been like this. I'm going to continue to be like this even when I'm old.
which is good. We need more people like that who are willing to just say whatever
And he's
they want.
and he's saying because they won't stop until they cancel me. So it's almost like he's letting them know because you're coming after me, I'm just going to keep doing it, which has been pretty common theme in his
Yeah.
career. All right, we'll pick it up here.
So me.
Yeah. I see the rap game, then attack the verses. Turn it to a graveyard packed with hearses. Just like your funeral, I'm at your service. Pockets on stuff like a taxidermist. Just landed in Los Angeles when this chick Angela and her grandmother in a tan-colored van pull up with a handful of Zans and a substantial amount of gang just to ask what my plans for the night are. I said sneak into the sleep in for the weekend and pretend it's a 5-star. Yeah, a leap into the deep end of the pool. I can show you where the dives are. We don't even gotta drive far. I know this spot, but it's so live. But I'm trying to get some head first, like a nosedive. So many side chicks can't decide which to slide with and which should I ditch. So when it comes to ass, bitch, I get behind like the Heimlich. Had one chick who liked to flip sometimes on some switch inside shit. Pushed her out the sidekick, then I flipped the little white bitch off like a light switch. It's okay not to like my shit. Everything's fine, drink your wine, bitch, and get offline with whining. This is just a rhyme, bitch. Like ask me, will I stick to my guns like adhesive tape? Does Bill Cosby sedate once he treats the cheesecake and a decent steak? You think getting rid of me's a piece of cake? I'm harder than finding Harvey Weinstein a date. And that's why they say I got more lines than Black Friday. So save that shit for the damn library. You heard of Chris Christopherson? Yeah. Well, I'm pissed Offerson. Paul's asking for Christmas off again. I said no, then I spit this song for him. It goes,
I can't understand a word you say. I'm tone deaf. I think this way I prefer to stay. I'm tone deaf. I won't stop even when my hair turns gray. I'm tone deaf. They won't stop until they cancel me.
It's the last pause. Let the rest of the song play out. Okay. So he comes in, second verse. He says, I see the rap game, then attack the verses, turn into a graveyard packed with hearses. Just like your funeral, I'm at your service, pockets on stuff like a taxidermist.
So pretty self-explanatory. Like your funeral, I'm at your service. Your funeral service, like I'm here to help you. We're here for you, whatever. And then pocket stuff like with money. And like a taxidermist because they stuff animals.
Yeah, so I see the rap game attack the verse, so he sees his competition and he's like, I can kill all these people, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then he turns it into a graveyard and does actually kill them. And then, like you already said, your funeral, I'm at your service, which is a double entendre, like I'm at your service, like I'm here to perform my rhymes for you, but also funeral service. And then taxidermists actually stuff things, so it's obvious, tying those two things together. He continues, he says, just landed in Los Angeles when this chick Angela and her grandmother in a tan-colored van pull up with a handful of Zans and a substantial amount of ganj just to ask what my grand plans for the night are. Does he say grand plans? Whatever.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah,
Ganja, ganja.
this is funny. This is just a random just to ask what my plans for the night are. Yeah, they don't say grand plans. It just says plans.
Grand plan.
So yeah, again, this is so like he mentioned Alexandra in the first verse. Don't know who that is. This Angela, I think they're just people for the rhymes.
Yeah, I agree.
The rhyming is good here. The Los Angeles, Angela, grandmother, the van,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's good. So yeah, this chick and her grandma pull up in a van with a bunch of Xanax and weed and ask him what his plans for the night are. Continues, I said, sneak into the sleep-in for the weekend and pretend it's a 5-star. Yeah, then it doesn't say I leap in. I think it says then leap in or leap into the deep end of the pool. I can show you where the dives are. We don't even got to drive far.
So is that it? What he says?
Yeah. The only thing is the I leap in. It says or leap in.
Okay. So yeah, So it's pretty self-explanatory, just the dives. He's talking about like dive bars.
So yeah, sneak into the sleep in for the weekend. So it's an inn, so it's like another motel, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And pretend it's a five-star hotel. And he says, or leap into the deep end of the pool. I could show you where the dives are. So obviously diving
Yeah.
pool, but he's talking about like dive bars.
Yes.
And then when he says leap into the deep end of the pool, I guess he's saying like just just go out. Do you know what I mean? Like I guess come into my world of the crazy fucked up shit. You know what I mean? I could show you where the dives are.
Yeah.
And we don't even got to drive far, so they're close. Then he says, I know this spot that is so live, but I'm trying to get some head first, like a nosedive.
So again, more of like the pool diving theme.
Yeah, it ties back into there.
And then head first, we know what
Yeah,
that means. Nosedive,
you dive, yes.
you know,
Then he
get it.
says, so many side chicks, can't decide which to slide with and which should I ditch. Yeah,
Self-explanatory.
he's got a bunch of girls. So when it comes to ass, bitch, I get behind like the Heimlich. So, I mean,
The Heimlich maneuver performed from behind. And then
yes.
behind, you know.
Yeah, you're behind someone and then behind ass. Then he says, had one chick who liked to flip sometimes on some switch and side shit, pushed her out the sidekick. Then I flipped the little white bitch off like a light switch.
Switching sides, meaning like she's bi?
I don't know. I thought like if you switch sides on someone, it's like you were friends, now you're not. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It could be a bi reference, although I don't know that he would kick her out of the car for
yeah, now
that.
I
You
know.
know what I
That's
mean?
why I don't know.
So yeah, who again, this other random girl, we don't know who she is, one chick, one of his side chicks, he pushed her out the sidekick. So I'm imagining like a sidecar, you know what I mean? Like on a motorcycle. I
Yeah,
don't know if that's actually called a sidekick or not. I
mm,
know it is a sidecar.
maybe.
Yeah. And then he says he flipped her off like a light switch. So on and off, gave her the finger. And then he says, it's okay not to like my shit. Everything's fine. Drink your wine, bitch, and get offline. Quit whining. This is just this is just a rhyme, bitch. But ask me, will I stick to my guns like adhesive tape? So the bar continues there, but he said it's fine. You don't have to be a fan of his music. That's fine. Just drink your wine, bitch. Get offline and quit whining. So like you don't have to like what he says, but don't listen to it. Don't go online and
Yeah.
complain and, you know, it's just rhymes. It's not this isn't real life. And
Yeah.
then ask me, will I stick to my guns like adhesive tape? So, meaning like, is he gonna still do what he does? Is he gonna stand by his rhymes, still saying the fucked up tone deaf stuff? He
Maybe.
continues and says, does Bill Cosby sedate once he treats to cheesecake and a decent steak? You think getting rid of me is a piece of cake? I'm harder than finding Harvey Weinstein a date.
So yeah, self-explanatory. He's talking about like all the Bill Cosby referring to the Bill Cosby allegations. And they're not allegations anymore though. They're confirmed,
He got
right?
out of prison,
He
so
did.
he was convicted, and then there was like prosecutorial misconduct, and he got out of prison. So I don't know. It's
So
a
there's still
weird
allegations,
situation.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's bizarre.
Okay.
So yeah, he says when people ask me, will I stick to my guns? He asks
Oh, there you
these
go.
rhetorical questions. He says, does Bill Cosby sedate? You know what I mean? So does a bear shit in the woods? Like it's like obviously I'm going to stick to my guns.
Uh-huh.
And then he uses the Bill Cosby, drugging people after they have cheesecake and decent steak, so after a meal. And then he says, you think getting rid of me is a piece of cake. So the cake ties back in with the cheesecake, right? And then he says, it's not a piece of cake to get rid of him. I'm harder than finding Harvey Weinstein a date. So you can't get rid of him just as much as you can't get Harvey Weinstein a date. It's a hard thing.
Difficult thing to do.
Yes. And then he says, and that's why they say, I got more lines than Black Friday. So save that shh for the damn library. So he actually does say shit, but he goes shit. It's weird. So he does the shh for the damn library, but he also does kind of say shit. It's weird.
Oh, okay. Well, it makes sense either way.
Yeah, it is. It's just how he delivers it. It's interesting. So yeah, I got more lines than Black Friday. Obviously, the stores are like all crazy and packed, so there's a lot of lines, and he has lines as a rapper, right? And then save that shit, but the for the damn library, you shush people. And he says, "You heard of Chris Christopherson? Well, I'm Pissed Offerson.
Who's Chris
I think
Christopherson?
he's just like I don't know if he's like a rock or like country artist or something like that. He's just the guy. I think he just likes his name, so he's
Because it's
using
funny. He's
that.
like, you heard of him? And then I'm just like, no, I don't. Have
Let's
not.
see. I have the lyrics on my phone. I wonder if there's an annotation. Chris Christopherson is a singer-songwriter, an actor, best known for being part of the country music supergroup The Highwaymen. I don't
I don't
even
know them either.
know them. But yeah, so he's just mentioning him and then saying, I'm Pissed Offerson, so to play on his name. Paul's asking for Christmas off again. I said no, then I spit the song for him. It
Is
goes,
that his lawyer or his
yeah,
manager?
Paul Rosenberg, the manager, who was the lawyer, yeah. So yeah, Paul asked for Christmas off. He said no, and then sang the chorus. All right, one more verse. We'll finish up the song. Uh, here we go.
Till they can't tell me.
Bitch, I can make orange rhyme with banana. Or nana. Eating pork rinds, sword fighting in pajamas. At the crib playing Fortnite with your grandma. But I'm more like a 4 or 5 with the grammar. About to show you why your 5 favorite rappers can't touch this. But before I get the hammer, I should warn you I'm Thor-like in this manner. Lord, but the day I lose sleep over you critiquing me, I ever let you cocksuckers eat at me. I need to be a motherfucking pizzeria. But you ain't getting no cheese from me. I went from Little Caesars, Bill teases, grilled cheeses, being dirt poured, filthy rich, but still me, bitch. Like a realtor, that's real T, bitch. Aftermath, bitch, whole camp lit. We put out fire, Dre stamps it. With my cohorts, hit a Bogart. Yeah, got your whole squad yelling, oh God. Here comes Marshall, with no holds barred. Bitch, I'm a hurricane, you're a blowhard. Like your old broad, she full of semen, like the Coast Guard. And life's been pretty good to me so far, for the most part. Had a couple of runnings with Popo, caught a couple of assault charges. Got a few priors, like crowbars, which is so odd, cause I'm 48 now. That 5-0 starting to creep up on me like a patrol car. I'll be an old fart, but you don't want no part, so bitch don't start. Simmer down, compose yourself, Mozart. I ain't with nowhere, call me coleslaw, cause I'm out for the cabbage and I'm so raw. And if time is money, you have no clocks. And any folk caught within close proximities getting cold cocked. My enemies, I'm a chimney, give me the smoke ops. And R.I.P. the king, run, and it don't stop. And I know not what the fuck you say. I told y'all it ain't me, it's my alter ego's fault. But if y'all wanna cancel me, no problem. I'll tell you the same thing I told Paul.
I can't understand a word you say. I'm tone deaf. I think this way I prefer to stay. I'm tone deaf. I won't stop even when my hair turns gray. I'm tone deaf. 'Cause they won't stop until they can't tell me. I'm tone deaf.
Okay. So one more verse to go through.
Yes.
Oh, I clicked perfectly. Interesting. All right, so he comes in third verse. He says, "Bitch, I can make orange rhyme with banana, or nana, eating pork rinds, sword fighting in pajamas."
Which is just funny.
So yeah, the I can make orange rhyme with banana is obviously impossible.
Because it's not possible.
Yeah, and
So
then
he makes up
or
the
nana.
word or nana.
Yeah, because he was famously there was that interview we spoke about this in previous videos. I think it was on I think it was Anderson Cooper for 60 Minutes. That was, they're like, oh, orange can't be rhymed. And then Eminem explained how he bends words to make it rhyme. So it's like a little poking fun at himself and, just rhyming in general. Then he says, eating pork rinds, sword fighting in pajamas,
Sounds fun.
at the crib, playing Fortnite with your grandma, but I'm more like a 4-5 with the grammar. About to show you why your 5 favorite rappers can't touch this, but before I get the hammer, I should warn you, I'm Thor-like in this manner. So I love this verse. This verse is actually really good.
So like a 45, like a gun
Yeah.
with a grammar.
Yeah. So he's eating pork rinds and sword fighting in pajamas, random, and then he's playing Fortnite with your grandma. He's just bizarre things.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, like you were pointing out, I'm like a 4-5 with the grammar. It's like a gun. Yeah, like a Colt 45, maybe. About to show you why your 5 favorite rappers can't touch this. So he's saying he's better than your 5 favorite rappers, but he introduces the can't touch this. and then says, but before I get the hammer,
Like MC Hammer.
MC Hammer, yeah. MC Hammer had the song You Can't Touch This. He said, before I get the hammer, I should warn you, I'm Thor-like in this manner. So he does the MC Hammer with the Can't Touch This, and then the hammer with Thor. So, he's going to kill your favorite rappers. He's, a god. All right. Then he says, but the day I lose sleep over you critiquing me, or I ever let you cocksuckers eat at me, I'd need to be a motherfucking pizzeria, but you ain't getting no cheese from me.
Self-explanatory to me.
Yeah, he's never going to lose sleep over people critiquing him. And then he says, if I ever let you cocksuckers eat at me. So referring to the critiques, of people have about him and his skills or whatever, his rhymes, he says, in order for it to eat at me, I would need to be a pizzeria. So you eat at a pizzeria, obviously.
Yeah.
And then he continues the scheme with, but you ain't getting no cheese from me. So you're not getting cheese from him because he's not a pizzeria and you don't eat at him.
Exactly.
Yes. Then he says, I went from Little Caesars, BLT's, grilled cheeses, being dirt poor, to filthy rich. I'm still me, bitch, like a realtor. That's real tea, bitch. Aftermath, bitch. Whole camp's lit. We put out fire. Dre stamps it.
Okay. So Little Caesars tie back to the pizza.
Yeah.
And then he just starts talking about like the foods that he ate when he was poor.
Cheap
A
food, yeah.
BLT and a grilled cheese, even though like I would totally eat that.
And Little Caesars, which is also cheap.
Yeah, I don't think I ever tried Little Caesars.
I had it at Kmart when I was
I'm a
younger.
Domino's girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then realtor, realty, same thing.
Yeah, so he being dirt poor to filthy. So dirt poor, filthy, rich. So dirt and
And
filthy.
dirty.
Yeah, which is cool. And then I'm still me. So he's saying, whether he was rich or poor, he's still true to himself. And then, like you just said, like a realtor, that's realty, bitch.
Yeah.
So realty, like a realtor sells realty, and then realty, like real talk, which he actually says in the ad lib. This is probably my favorite part of the whole song. He says, "Aftermath, bitch, whole camp's lit. We put out fire. Dre stamps it." So,
Yeah.
no, you want to go ahead.
You explain.
So yeah, Aftermath is the label that Dr. Dre's label. It says the whole camp's lit. So everybody at Aftermath is fire. They're lit. And then he literally says, "We put out fire." Dre stamps it. I love this scheme. So yeah, the whole camp's lit. So like a campfire. He says, "We put out fire." So everybody at Aftermath puts out fire music, and then Dre stamps it. So Jay's the producer, but he puts his like approval, right, his label on it. So, but Dre also stamps out the fire that the camp lit. So I love that scheme.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Since I first heard it, that like stuck out to me. Yeah, Dre stamps it with my cohorts. Hit a Bogard. I don't know if he says hit a Bogard or here to Bogard. Either way, we get the meaning. Yeah, got your whole squad yelling, "Oh God!" Here comes Barshall. He actually says Barshall with a B,
It's funny.
with no holds barred. Bitch, I'm a hurricane. You're a blowhard, like your old broad. She's full of semen, like the Coast Guard.
Okay.
So yeah, he's here with his crew, his cohorts, hit a Bogart or here to Bogart. So they're taking over everything. Bogart's, smoking Humphrey Bogart. So they're here to take it over. And your whole squad's yelling, "Oh God," right? Because they're taking over everything.
Yeah.
But they're saying, "Here comes Barshall with no holds barred."
So saying like, he has bars.
Exactly. And then the whole no holds barred. So to play on that too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm a hurricane, you're a blowhard. So hurricanes obviously have very strong winds, but he's saying,
Yes.
I'm a hurricane, you're just a blowhard. Like your old broad, she's full of semen, like the Coast Guard.
Like semen and seamen.
Yes. And then the Coast Guard, seamen. Yeah, that's a cool line too.
Mm-hmm.
Then he says, and life's been pretty good to me so far, for the most part. Had a couple of run ins with Popo, caught a couple assault charges, got a few priors like crowbars.
Oh, that's a good one. Like a prior charge, but then like a prior, like PRYER.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is straightforward. He's saying, life's been good. I had some troubles, right? I ran in with the cops, got a couple assault charges and a few priors, like you just said, prior charges, and then crowbars, like PRY, prying something.
Mm.
Then he says, which is so odd, because I'm 48 now, that 50 is starting to creep up on me like a patrol car. I'll be an old fart, but you don't want no part. So, bitch, don't start.
So yeah, self-explanatory, but then saying like 50, like the police, but then like 50 years old. Oh my God, he's older than 50, right?
So yeah,
Right.
he did. So he did the couple of priors. So he's been arrested. The runs with Popo, and then he says, which is so odd because I'm 48 now. The 50 is starting to creep. So he's continuing the scheme of having run-ins with the cops, and then he does the play on the 50, meaning the cops, and then he's turning 50 years old, a patrol car. And he's saying even when he's an old fart, nobody wants to fuck with him. So don't start. And then he says, simmer down, compose yourself, Mozart. I ain't went nowhere. Call me coleslaw, 'cause I'm out for the cabbage and I'm so raw. I like this line too.
Yeah, I think I don't see anything hidden in there. I don't know.
Not that anything's hidden. He's just saying, don't start. You don't want no problems, right? So simmer down, compose yourself, meaning like don't start with me.
Like composer. Mozart's a composer.
Yeah, so compose yourself, get a hold of yourself, and then like you just said, um, I ain't went nowhere, meaning like I never left. I'm still here. I'm killing shit. And then call me coleslaw because I'm out for the cabbage and I'm so raw.
Money.
And obviously cabbage is in coleslaw. Is it raw?
Yes.
Yeah, so I thought so, but I was like, I actually don't know if the
And then covered
cabbage.
in like liquidy mayonnaise or something.
Yeah,
Not a favorite of mine.
so some of it's good. I like
Yeah.
sometimes. Then he continues, and if time is money, you have no clocks. And any folks caught within close proximities getting cold cocked, my enemies, I'm a chimney. Give me the smoke, ops. So if time is money, you have no clocks. You have no money
Yeah.
or time.
No.
And then he says any folk caught within close proximity. So anybody near him's getting cold cocked or getting hit. Not you don't have to be an enemy. You could just be anybody near me. And then as far as the enemies go, I'm a chimney. Give me the smoke, ops. So like his oppositions, he wants smoke. He wants the beef, the
Okay.
problems. Then he says, an RIP to King Von, and I don't stop, and I know not what the fuck you say. I told y'all, it ain't me, it's my alter ego's fault. But if y'all want to cancel me, no prob. I'll tell you the same thing I told Paul.
I don't know who King Von is. You've explained who he is to me before, I
He's
think.
so I couldn't even tell you a single song by him. He's a rapper, and he was pretty young. He got killed,
Oh.
um, obviously right around this time. And yeah, so he's just giving a shout out to him. He's saying, RIP. And I know not what the fuck you say. So I guess he's saying, like, I don't even know what you people are saying about me. You know what I mean? Um, and either way, it's not me. It's Slim Shady, my alter ego. If you want to cancel me, I'll tell you the same thing I told Paul, which is no.
No.
And the chorus, I can't
It's
understand.
that.
Yes. All right.
It's funny because from witnessing people get canceled and people get away with things, if you have been one way your entire career, it's really hard to cancel you.
Yeah.
Like, there are people who still have large followings. Granted, they're not like followings of like the general population. Like, it's more like a niche following, but a following nonetheless. And they say like fucked up shit. Like, who are those guys?
What guys?
Anthony.
Oh, like Anthony Cumia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they say whatever words they want to
Yeah, they say
say, and
wild shit.
I mean, I guess Anthony was canceled a long, long time ago.
Yeah, he was. He lost his job.
So yeah, there's that. But he took it a little too far with what he had said.
Yeah. So no, I agree with you. So it's interesting. Every now and then I'll see something pop up on social media where like I guess the young kids of today will like try to go after Eminem like randomly. And for the most part, I think even people that are like kind of into that, like kind of woke, but if they're in our generation, they're kind of like, oh, leave him alone. You know what I mean?
Well,
For
the
whatever
thing
reason.
is, when you try and cancel someone, you're encouraging their whole fan base to no longer support them. And when your whole fan base is the type of people to cancel people, you get canceled really easily. When your whole fan base doesn't really care, then you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like it's hard to cancel someone if they've always been one way.
Yeah.
And because they have their fan base already. And I mean, if you were against what he was all about, you would have stopped listening to him a while ago.
Yeah. And the whole idea of like canceling or like publicly trying to make someone lose their job or whatever it is, that's not a it's not a good way to make someone change their views about something that you think they're wrong about. You know what I mean? Like Eminem, throughout his career, he's changed. Like we covered on Revival that the Darkness song where he's like very anti-gun. He wasn't always like that, right? But he didn't come to that view from people shitting on him about guns. You know what I mean? He got there naturally. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like forcing somebody or like trying to punish them for not believing the things you believe, it's never going to
Yes.
work. You may succeed in like ruining their career or taking away money from them, but they're not going to, just line up with you. They're more likely to resist it at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they see it as like tyrannical, getting pushed down from above. Yeah.
I don't support canceling. I think it's kind of ridiculous.
Stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah, you already know this song, but
Yeah.
any thoughts after we break it down?
So it's good. It's got a lot of good one-liners and some funny bars in it. I feel like it's one of his more like comical songs, which is nice to hear because for a while I felt like he was getting really political and a little preachy. And I was like, okay, that's fine. You can share your thoughts and your ideas, but I'm really here for like the fun Eminem songs.
Yeah,
That's
so
just me though.
yeah, I like the song. This is one of my favorites on the this album.
Mhm.
I thought so. It was produced by him and Luis Resto, so he made this beat as well. I was gonna say that the beat is really good on this. I like the
Yeah,
way
it's
he,
fun. You like bop around.
yeah,
It's a fun one.
and the way he rhymes to it is awesome. It's weird. He doesn't produce as much as he should because most of the songs that he produced and raps on, they're like huge hits, like Lose Yourself, you know what I mean? Like, and a bunch of
Yeah,
like Eminem show songs. He's so good at it because I guess he creates the beat, so he knows how to rhyme on it better than anybody else.
that makes sense.
It's weird that he doesn't do it more often.
Yeah,
But yeah, I like the song. It's great. Not much else to say.
me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so definitely check out Carnivore Snacks, SeatGeek, follow us on social media channels, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.
See you. Bye.
Bye.